Do you still want to break up big tech?
Well, I think they need to get regulated. I think that companies like Facebook and Google will be subject to much stricter laws. Section 230 will change and recognize them as quasi-publishers. And I say quasi because this is where, again, laws and politicians' understanding of the economy is still too brittle. But if they can bring the right people to teach them what an algorithm is, and what machine learning and what weights are and how these things operate, what they'll see is a mechanized publisher. And there should be rules for mechanized publishers that are different from being a dumb pipe. So I think that that's going to happen. And then, for Microsoft, Apple, and Amazon, I don't think that much is going to happen. And the reason is because I think that those guys are generally on the right side of history. And they generally don't err towards the type of hot button issues that politicians care about. Like Facebook and Google threaten the institutionalized structures of power and influence that codify politics. Amazon Prime doesn't do that. Getting toothpaste, the next day, it's just not that disruptive. So, the laws will affect the folks that, threaten to disrupt politicians first and foremost.
And you think politicians can meet that threat with regulation, as opposed to, in Facebook's case, forcing the company to divest of, say, Instagram or WhatsApp?
Well, can they? I'm not sure that they can. Will they? Yes. And I think that, look, when you look at Mark's stated strategy, Zuck's stated strategy, if I had to, again, do a one-pager for that laboriously long thing that he wrote, it's basically what he said was, I am going to take all these products, I'm going to entangle them together so that institutionally this code base is monolithic. Now, this is an engineer speaking to you. Such that if any sort of, carve-outs or divestitures were to come to pass, it would take years for us to disentangle this mess, which are many more years where I can bet on the laws changing, the government changing, or their minds changing. So I think from a business strategy perspective, it was both obvious and brilliant. But I don't think it was seen for what it was by politicians.